Hey all, Luigi Dragon here, aka Panzer Dragon, and today we'll be featuring a patch 4.1 jungle tier list for carrying solo queue. The way I'll be basing off this solo queue tier list is how much damage the jungler can do, how much mobility they have, and how hard they can snowball a game by singly having a lot of kills on themselves. That means you, the player, will have a lot of responsibility on you carrying the game. So for 5th place, we'll be talking about Elise. So Elise has strong base damage because of her Q and W, and her spider form, which makes her into a bruiser. Most of her damage have percent health damage, and along with that also have flat damage. And Elise can 1v1 a lot of champions because of her human form QW, spider form QW combo. If she builds a lot of magic penetration, she can do tons of damage to a squishy and probably 100% the 30% them. And if left alone for a long time with the squishy, can probably kill him. Early game, Elise can duel most junglers 1v1 because of her range form poke and her spider form bruiser form. When trying to chase for kills, when going for kills, she's got a stun under utility, she's got 2 forms of gap closers, the spider bite and the repel, and to top that off with a lot of damage. The only bad thing about her is that she doesn't have an ultimate, so she won't have that super lockdown like Vi, but that's fine because her ganks are still extremely strong. Her mid game team fighting is actually pretty good because she brings poke in her human form using QWE. The stun can actually catch someone off, giving your team the opportunity to insta-gib him, and when she needs to become a bruiser, she turns into a spider form, which has a finisher, a huge attack speed steroid, and probably one of the most cheapest skills in the game, repel. In team fights, that repel actually lets you take in a lot of damage, and then once you need to disengage, you just use repel, and then you can back away or get in and chase someone. Late game, her damage is still very strong because it is percent health, but one thing she does lack is AoE and CC. At 4th place, we'll have Nocturne. I feel that Nocturne is really strong because of his global presence, and usually when he ults, you know someone's gonna die. And if you get some kills on him, and say your lane is winning hard, and then he shows up, he can turn that around with just one ultimate gank and screw you over. So early game, Nocturne has strong damage, which means his ganks will be swift and fast. His base damage is actually really strong because at level 9, Duskbringer, it does give 55 AD, and Nocturne is one of those guys who can camp bot lane constantly because he can just do a lane gank with his ultimate, and then he can just snowball it that way. Mid game, Nocturne is actually pretty good. His damage hasn't fallen off yet, and he's good at picking people off and initiating team fights, and if you build something like Triforce on him, you can definitely take down sorceries pretty fast, as you can probably stick to a target for like 3 seconds since your fear will be tethered to them, and that should be enough time to take someone down. Late game, his damage does fall off because people will start building armor, and people can tend to burst down tanks now, and if you kept building damage, you're just going to explode in team fights. So now Nocturne can't take out high priority targets anymore, and now his job is to tank now, except the only CC he has is the fear, and that's only single target. Also, people do tend to group up late game, so you can't be picking off people as much as you could maybe in early game. At number 3, we have Vi. Vi is a strong bruiser initiating tank. Her chasing ability is really strong because of her Q, which can gap close multiple times and has a lot of damage backing it up. Her damage is strong because she can reset autos off her E, and her W has that maximum percent health damage, and her ultimate actually does a lot of damage, but the best part of her ultimate is that it places you behind them, making it hard for people to get away from you. When she gets her Triforce, she can take down targets really fast, and she becomes a mega bruiser, and if the enemy doesn't have any damage to stop her, then she's just going to wreck your team. Her early ganks are strong because if you get hit by the Q, you're going to take a lot of damage from her burst combo, making you die or forced to go back. When she gains her ultimate, most ganks that you do with her ultimate will probably be a kill most of the time. At mid game, she's really good initiator, and when she locks that target down, your team can follow up and burst that target, and she does a lot of damage in team fights, especially to that one target. She bursts it down, and she's got a bit of tankiness from her blast shield passive, so she can take a few hits before dying, or if you can get out. And late game, she does become into a decent tank. She can still initiate onto one target, she still has decently strong damage, and she does still have crowd control to provide after she's ulted with her Q. At number 2, we do have Kha'Zix. He's a very strong jungler at the moment with his high damage and mobility. He's a very snowbally champ, as the more damage he gets, the more he can take down people quicker and faster when he comes into a lane, and one of his best traits is that he can solo dragon because of the isolation from his Q. And anyways, early game he does start off slow because he does need his evolution, so he gets more utility from his evolved wings, and his ult does give him the reset on his passive, while also getting you in range with the movement speed, so that you can keep sticking to a target, and he will kill you if he does get into melee range of you, as he can stick hard to you. Mid game he's extremely good at picking people off, and 1v1s because of how much damage he can bring out with his isolation plus the stealth, yada yada yada. He does have poke with his W, so he can whittle someone down before going in. And he is a very high damage assassin, meaning he can take out targets swiftly, and a good Kha'Zix can clean up team fights by himself and carry the game just by doing that. And he can get a lot of kills by himself, meaning the player playing him will have a lot of responsibility on carrying the game. Late game, he can't jump in and out as easier because people do get tankier, so he's gonna have to wait for people to get low before jumping in. And the thing is though, he's probably still getting damage, so he's got a lot of responsibility on him, but that's the reason why you can carry with him, right? Because you're a carry jungler. And at number 1 we do have Wukong. Wukong is a really great champion as he can do the jungle now since he doesn't need sustain from it, since he gets it from his spirit stone. And now that he can do the jungle, he can skip the part where he's weakest at most, which is early game, and he can firmly reach mid game and late game. Anyways, let's talk about his early game. So his early game is a bit slow, as his pre-6 ganks do not provide any CC, but once he hits 6, he does achieve his ultimate, which does a lot of damage, provides CC, and it is on a really low cooldown. So he can be spamming ganks once his ultimate is up. Alright, so now let's talk about Wukong's mid game. His mid game is strong because he can initiate, he's part of the Wombo Combo crew, and his ultimate actually does a lot of damage. And actually, once his ultimate goes off on cooldown, he does become a decent bruiser as his E gives him a gap closer plus attack speed, and his Q does reduce armor plus an auto attack reset. Oh, and also his passive does give him a lot of free magic resistant armor, just like Shyvana. And now let's talk about his late game. His late game is still very strong as he does provide his AoE CC and the damage from it, and he's still a pretty good bruiser as he can reduce armor with his Q, and his damage is pretty good on top of that. And of course he is still very tanky because of his passive. Thank you for watching, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time.